Moving on over to topic 2, let's talk about WrestleMania. Let's take what we have kind of learned from the Rumble and see if we can predict WrestleMania 40's card. Now, what I'm going to use to kind of help me do this is the handy dandy WWE 2K23. So just from a visual standpoint, you're not going to see anything podcast-wise. So if you're listening to audio, audio feeds, you don't have to worry about like, oh, I gotta go check out the video now. No, this is just going to help me in terms of like laying everything out and having people here. So in comparison to WrestleMania 39, we're just going to use this as our general layout of like what's going to happen at WrestleMania 40 or what could potentially be planned. We're going to go off of that, of how many matches there were, and I believe it is 14. So just quickly from WrestleMania 39, we had Austin Theory versus John Cena. We had the men's tag showcase. We had Seth Rollins and Logan Paul. We had the 3-on-3 ladies, Trish, Lita, Becky going against Damage Control. You had Mysterio and Dom, Ray and Dom. You had Rhea and Charlotte. You did have Pat McAfee and Miz. I'm not going to count that one. So then we did have the main event, which was Usos against Owens and Zayn. So you had 7 in night 1. Night 2, you had Brock versus Omos. You had the women's tag showcase. You had Gunther against Sheamus and Drew. You had Bianca against Asuka. You had Snoop Dogg. Not going to count it. You had Edge versus Finn. And you had Roman against Cody Rhodes. So 13 matches. So that'll give them time to do, their little comedy stuff if they want to, any backstage interactions. So we're going to book 13 matches here for WrestleMania, and we'll see how accurate we can get this, 2-3 months out. All right, so let's start with the obvious ones. So, or, what I think are the more obvious ones. So let's start with Seth and his world title. So Seth, I believe, is going to be going against one CM Punk. I think that is the route that we're going to be going. Could they pull a swerve and throw somebody else in there, like a Drew, like a Gunther? I certainly think so. I don't know if they would throw that much of a curveball, but I think that's the route that they're going. I think it's going to be Seth and Punk. You can give Punk the main event spot. I don't know who wins it. Also, it's it's determined on is Seth healthy? How is this MCL tear? Is it kayfabe? Is it real? Whatever it is. If he can keep healthy, if he can keep going, and then afterwards get whatever he's got to get done and taken care of, great. I think the two can work well together. Obviously, we've seen their promo work against each other. So I think that is pretty safe to say that Punk and Rollins will be going for the World Championship or World title at Mania. So we'll lock that one in. On the lady side of things, sorry, I got to go through here and do all the customization crap. All right, let's talk about Rhea. So I know they want us to believe that Rhea is going to be going against Bayley, because Damage Control still so far seems to be all hunky-dory. We haven't really gotten to the point where they're at a breakup, and it's going to be interesting to see how this falls apart, if it's going to fall apart. We've been building tensions a little while where it just feels like Bayley's on the outskirts of the group, not in any particularly bad way, but she's just left out. Where Dakota understands the other three and Bayley just doesn't understand or feels left behind. So those tensions going into the Rumble, if there was a split, I think that would have made more sense. Now it's weird because why wouldn't she come out Friday, declare to challenge Rhea if everything's fine, if that makes sense? If everything's hunky-dory, then the plan should just be like, yep, we're going to go after Rhea, we're going to get the gold across all brands, whatever it is. There's no tension right now for her to go against Io. I'm still going to put that as a match, so we got to figure out who's going against Rhea. And I think, at least in terms of call-outs, Becky has been the forefront. I would like it for Bianca to do a Bianca Rhea match, I think that would be great. However, they're on opposite brands. So if we're following the rules, I don't think it works. So I think we got to kind of go with this Becky Rhea thing, which will be a great match too. Don't get me wrong. But I think that's going to be the case. So I think it's Rhea going to be defending her Women's World Championship. I don't remember what the titles are. I think it's Women's World. I think it's going to be that. So Becky and Rhea for the Women's World Championship for Monday Night Raw. Boop. All right, and then we just kind of talked about it as well on the other side of things for the SmackDown Women's Championship, or the, what do they call it, the Women's Universal? I don't recall what they call it. But I think it's going to be Io and Bayley. I do not know how they're going to get to, obviously the tension between the group to have those two go at it. That is the big question mark here. The WWE Women's Championship. That's all it is. I don't know how they get there, but I think that's the route we're going. I don't know if I think it was What Culture joked around like, oh, Bayley's understand Japanese this whole time. She knows that they're shit talking her. That seems a little goofy, but there has to be some dividing force between the group in order for this to happen. I think it's just a matter of how and when. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Obviously, we got time. It's very weird, once again, why Bayley wouldn't just declare right away, yeah, I'm going for Rhea. And also, can she do that and just be like, oops, I changed my mind, just talk to Nick Aldis or whatever and be like, nope, that's not the case. I don't know. All right, so all is right in the world. Cody's going to finish the story. So let's just put that in there. Cody Rhodes going after the WWE Universal Championship against Roman Reigns. I think we get a lot of things cleared up now, thanks to the Rumble and Cody actually winning. It seems like that is cleared up. Could there still be some shenanigans with The Rock, with Punk, if you get an Elimination Chamber type thing? Somehow they skirt their way in there to make a triple threat. Sure. I don't think that'll be the case. I think it'll just be Cody and Roman. We'll finish the story. We'll go from there. So we got our 4 main title picture matches set. So let's talk about mid-card, because tag team is throwing me for a loop, to be honest. So let's talk about the IC title. Now, prior to recent scandals, I would say Brock was probably a heavy, not favorite, but it was something that was being talked about with Gunther. Just get the big guys in there, give Gunther, make him feel even more dominant with taking on Brock, similar to how Cody beat him and got the rub, quote unquote. You could do that with Gunther, make him feel even more of an impending doom. If Gunther's going to defend here, now this is where it gets a little shaky, because do you do a multi-man match? I think they could. There's certainly potential. You put like a Chad Gable in there, you put a Ricochet in there, you put Ivar, Bronson Reed, maybe Jey Uso in there. Like, you have a lot of contenders for that Intercontinental Championship that, okay, that checks out. But I don't think, in terms of Mania match itself, unless they pin Gunther, similar to a Roman situation, it's almost like a false win, unless you want to protect Gunther in that way, where, oh, he didn't technically get pinned, he's still a beast, and then move him up to the world title picture. Okay, fine. I'm going to just take this from a one-on-one perspective. We have to rebuild him a little bit, because he's been taking a break for a little while these past couple weeks / month or two, and he's kind of built up to Zawa. But I think Chad Gable should still finish this story. We had a chance with him a while back. I didn't put the title on. With, I believe it was in his hometown on that, the opportunity he had to get the IC title there. Unfortunately, heartbreaking. Didn't capture it. I think if we rebuild Chad a little bit, get him that momentum back, and show how strong and talented he is, I think that would be a good one. Give Chad a big moment. He's been there for a while. Obviously, he's won tag team gold numerous times, but to kind of propel him, not that he has to leave the goofiness of the Alpha Academy, but just establish him more as a star as well, and try and also elevate that group. Not fully out of the comedy role, but make them also feel like a threat as well. Like, New Day's very goofy, but they're credible. I think this would help Alpha Academy do that again, and not just be comic relief all the time. Yeah, all right. U.S. title. Who's Logan Paul going against? We talked about it in the last topic with the Rumble, how the match ended with, the disqualification and the shenanigans there, so they can continue the Owens story past this point. Does that continue till Mania? I would say no. That just seems like a long time. Not that they can't do long-term storytelling. Once again, this whole Cody thing, the whole Roman Reigns thing. Long-term stories can work. I just have a tough time thinking out that far of, like, what do you do to keep it interesting till April? To have the audience, enticed still behind this, and involved. So I want to go a one-on-one as well. And I know all of our matches have been one-on-one, so it's like, oh, well, this is kind of boring. I'm just going to speak it into existence. I think LA Knight goes here. Obviously, he's been in the world title picture, which is great, so this can, also a little bit negative because it feels like a demotion. I think this is just a way to be like, hey, be rewarding, give him that moment, give him that championship. Like, even if it isn't the world, it's like, you're doing a great job. Let's give this over to you. And I don't think Logan was meant to be a super long champion anyway. I think it was more for the name notoriety. So you can still pull the names in, having Logan participate at Mania, give LA Knight this moment. The crowd will go crazy for him, keep elevating him, and then he can keep having great matches with the U.S. title, similar to, I would say, like a Gunther. Build that back up. Because he's got a lot of matches that could be good against him, whether it's an Owens, whether it's Mysterio, a Santos, Carlito, the SmackDown roster that they got over there. There's a lot of potential. So I would say LA and Logan Paul for the US. All right. So let's go to the tag. Now, there's a match that I want, but I don't know if it's the match we're going to get. Now, I believe, as of recording, tomorrow, DIY takes on Judgment Day for the Tag Team Championships. Unfortunately, I don't think this is DIY's time. It seems like how we've been building, it's going to be a different team, and it's a team that we kind of already ran with, and for some reason we have a surprisingly amount of nostalgia and we're revisiting. But I think it's going to be Judgment Day. It's going to be Finn and Damian Priest taking on Awesome Truth. I think that's what we're going with. It's a weird one just because, once again, why are we going back to this team from many, many years ago? I don't know. It seems odd. This one could also somehow turn into a multi-man match where you get more tag teams involved. I'd be fine with that. Get more people involved. Get them that Mania payday or whatever. But if we're just going to do single team versus single team, I think at least how the story or what elements they're telling right now, it seems like this is the path we're going to go. We have Truth trying to be Judgment Day. Finally, Priest on the Rumble seems to have snapped to be the final member, to be like, nope, get out of here. So we could go from there. That's also a long story, though. How do you keep this going from past Elimination Chamber to Mania? That's a good question as well. So this is maybe where you could slot some extra teams in there. Do you put the Creeds in there? Do you put DIY in there? Do Do you put the Street Profits in there? I'm trying to think of other more established teams. I'm not sure. Do you have a returning Zayn and Owens in there? Maybe, but it seems like they want to do their own thing. So, not sure, but at least right now that's what it seems storytelling-wise they're telling us. So, Awesome Truth going against Balor and Priest for the undisputed tag titles. I don't think I have a prediction for the women's tag. So right now, Kabuki Warriors have it. The women's tag division's weird, where it feels like they want it to be a thing, but also don't want it to be a thing at the same time. And I don't feel like we have any super strong tag teams. Fire and Dawn were great in NXT, but once they got out to the main roster, they immediately lost to Ronda and Shayna to lose the NXT tag and unify those. They haven't done anything since this most recent challenge with Katana Chance and Kane Carter. Speaking of Kane Carter and Katana Chance, they're good. They've been tag teaming for ages, and they got a good moveset and chemistry together. Still some things they could grease out, iron out, whatever. But in terms of personality and the people's excitement behind them, I don't think it's there. And I don't know if that's just investment overall in the storytelling with the ladies division or the women's division. I'm not sure. But I don't know if they're Mania caliber. And that sounds bad. You could have done the Sasha and Bayley route. But obviously Mercedes Sasha isn't back. She still hasn't shown up anywhere. So, there's a hope, there's a chance, there's a dream. But I don't think that's the route we're going. Do you build up Candice and Indy? Potential. But that's another one where it feels like it's been a rough stop-start type thing with them. So I don't know if I have any strong enough contenders to put in here for the women's tag belts to really have that feel like a Mania type match, So for now, I'm gonna leave that one for a maybe. So right now, if you're keeping track with us, we got 7 matches booked. So we have 6 left. So right now we got Seth and Punk for the world title. We got Rhea versus Becky for the women's world title. Io and Bayley for the WWE Women's Championship. Cody and Roman for the WWE Universal Championship. Chad Gable and Gunther for the IC title. Logan Paul versus LA Knight for the US title. And Finn Balor and Damian Priest against Awesome Truth for the undisputed tag titles. All right, so now we're kind of in that we're just fighting to fight type thing. And I think, at least in terms of storytelling, I think one over on Monday Night Raw has been Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn. How do you keep escalating this to a point where the story's Mania level? I don't know. But at least the tension seems to continue to be there between the two. This could be Drew's send-off if he doesn't re-sign with WWE and either jump ship or take some time for himself. I think this could be a good send-off match for him. So I would put that there. Now, this one's tough just because the story hasn't been building there, except for a brief moment in the Rumble. But I think we're still led to believe that it's going to be Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso facing off. Uso v. Uso. You want to get spicy and throw Solo in here? You could. You just have to have a little bit more of a breakup, obviously, with the bloodline. But Uso versus Uso could definitely show up or happen. It's just got to get the build in. That's a tough one with being cross promotion. But they could certainly do it. All right. 4 left. Let's get another kind of showcase-esque thing we got here. I talked about it with the Rumble. Just seems like they could go and build off of it with this clean elimination. I don't know if I want to see it. I think I'd rather see a different match. But in terms of build, it works. It's Jade Cargill versus Nia Jax. quick, easy elimination for the Rumble. Slammed her a few times. Jade's got, we've seen it in AEW. She's got that kind of spice behind her promo, so I think these two could go back and forth on the mic and build this up. I'd rather see the other face-off we got of Bianca and Jade, which that could also fit in here. It's just that's more, we think that's face versus face, which isn't a deal breaker. I'm just trying to think of what Nia does in this meantime. Like, does she go after Rhea after Elimination Chamber to give Rhea that match in Australia and then move on to Becky afterwards, and then Nia's kind of in this weird limbo? I don't know, but that's going to be my guess. Jade versus Nia. So we got three more. Let's say they're going to do their tag showcases again. Or some kind of giant match that highlights a lot of people, right? Now, I know you're like, Brett, you just talked about the women's tag division. You're not feeling super confident there. That's true. I think I can put a men's one together, though. So I'm gonna throw DIY in here once I find them. So I'm gonna throw DIY in there just because we've been building them pretty well, getting them some decent momentum, and it's actually working. So we'll have DIY be our first team. I think we're also gonna throw in the Pride there, aka the Street Profits. We'll have them in there, which will also lead to our third team, which is going to be the Authors of Pain. We got the whole Final Testament build there, so I think that could carry over into that. So that's two SmackDown teams, so we're going to need a third Raw team, so I am going to throw in Imperium. I'm going to put Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci in here. They are going to be our fourth team for this. Sorry, just trying to find everybody to keep myself in check. Angelo. And then my last team was Imperium, right? Ludwig or Giovanni. There we go. So yeah, four-way showcase, DIY, Authors of Pain, Street Profits, and Imperium. I think that could be a nice tag showcase if you're going to do that again. Run it back from last year. So, if we're going to give the men a showcase, let's get the women a showcase. Now, do we do the tag route, or do we do some type of just like elimination battle royale type thing? Let's go four-way. Let's go tag team. This is where we're going to put the tag titles. This one's probably not going to happen. This is probably if we're, doing betting odds of like, oh, how right were your predictions? Well, this was probably the bottom of the barrel, or did not even have a chance. So we have the Kabuki Warriors. I'm going to put them in against the Way. So Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. I'm going to put also... See, do Chelsea and Piper stick together, or do they split? I'm going to put Fire and Dawn in here. So we got a heel tag team from SmackDown. And then Monday Night Raw, we need a heel team. Oh, that's two heel teams there with Kabuki and Isla Dawn. Do we do that? We can do another face team. Do I put Maxine and Ivy in there? No, let's put Katana and Kaden in there. Alright, so for the women's tag titles, Kabuki Warriors, The Way, Fire and Dawn, Chance and Carter. So what's our last match? Now we get the real fun stuff of like filling in the blanks here. So for this second half, we've added Drew and McIntyre versus Sammy, Uso versus Uso, Cargill versus Jax, Men's Tag Showcase with DIY, Authors of Pain, Street Profits, and Imperium, Women's Tag Showcase for the belts, Kabuki, The Way, Fire and Dawn, or Unholy Union, Alliance, whatever it is, Chance and Carter. Oh, okay. This is another one that's just kind of YOLO. We're going to get the returning Rey Mysterio. Returning Rey Mysterio from his knee injury. He's going to be tagging with a partner of his choosing, but he's going to be going against his son and his other adopted son who he broke his heart. So he's going to be going against Dominic Mysterio. We're going to run that back. And he's going to be going against Dominic and Santos Escobar. But it's going to be... No, not Sammy. Santos. It's going to be Rey Mysterio and Bad Bunny against Santos and Dominic. I know. Very silly. Bad Bunny's got that weird gap, or his tour just ends for night 2 of WrestleMania. So you're telling me there's a chance? Who knows? But yeah, interesting Mania card. A lot of singles matches. You know, nothing wrong with that. But yeah, we'll have to see. So from the top, bottom, whatever. We got Rey Mysterio and Bad Bunny teamed together going against Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio. We got the women's tag titles in a women's showcase. We got the Kabuki Warriors against The Way, against Unholy Union, against Chance and Carter. We got the men's tag showcase, DIY versus Authors of Pain versus Street Profits versus Imperium. We got Nia Jax taking on Jade Cargill. We got Jimmy Uso going against Jey Uso. We got Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn. We got the Judgment Day defending the Undisputed Tag titles against Awesome Truth. We got Logan Paul defending his U.S. Championship against LA Knight. We got Gunther defending his IC title against Chad Gable. You got Roman Reigns defending his Universal Championship against Cody Rhodes. Io Sky defending her WWE Women's title against Bayley. Rhea Ripley defending her Women's World Championship against Becky Lynch. And Seth Rollins defending his World Championship against CM Punk. 13 matches. Book it. Ship it. All that stuff. We'll have to take a revisit to this and see how wrong I was. And boy, howdy, do I think I'll be wrong in a lot of spaces. But it's fun. This is at least where I'm thinking we're headed post-Rumble, where storylines seem to be headed, builds seem to be going. We'll have to see. Like I said, there's still a lot of question marks. Is Seth healthy enough? How does Damage Control break up? What's going on with the IC picture, the US picture, the women's tag picture, if any? A lot of questions in the air, but at least from small tidbits of what I've seen or picked up on, this has some potential, but we'll see. Well, everybody, this has been another episode of the Wait What Are We Talking About podcast. Appreciate everybody hanging out today. My name is Brett, a.k.a. Enigma9011. If you guys ever want to catch the podcast live, you can always go over to twitch.tv/Enigma9011. You can drop a follow over there. You'll get notified when we go live, so you join in on the fun and chaos and conversation with us. But if you can't catch live, that's A-OK. Go over to YouTube and podcast services the very next week, where it's broken out topic by topic and puts one big video in MP3 for your amusement on the following Friday. Last but not least, wherever you're listening or watching this, if you could click that follow, subscribe button, whatever it may be. It does seem small, but it does help the channel grow. So if you take the time to do that, we would love and appreciate you for it. Appreciate you guys hanging out today for all the wrestling talk. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the Royal Rumble. If you guys partook, let me know what you guys think is going to take place at WrestleMania 40. And let's just have some fun, because wrestling is awesome. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys had a good one. I'll see you guys on the next time. Bye.